Was the scene you did in Borat scripted?
Well, it was scripted by Borat, by his producers. I don't know. I'd be glad to kind of give a little background on it if anybody's interested. This falls into the category of live and learn better than anything else. It was about 3 or 4 years ago, and my office in Atlanta. I have an office in Atlanta and in Washington. And my office in Atlanta had received, I don't know whether it was a letter or an email from a public relations firm. And this public relations firm, which was a legitimate firm, we checked it out. They said, we have this correspondent coming over from somewhere in Eastern Europe, and he would like to talk with you about the Patriot Act, as a matter of fact. Because that was in the news, and they said, we know that you've been working against the Patriot Act since leaving the Congress, and we want to ask some questions about that in the Constitution. So we actually checked it out. We thought we did a good job. They had a law firm that was working with them. They had a PR firm, and so we said, fine. We'll set a meeting up in my Washington office. So I go up to Washington for some other business. Walk into my office, and they'd already set up their cameras. Very professional. They had 2 cameras and crew folks wandering around and so forth. And it all looked very professional. So I thought, this is fine. And they gave me a release, as a lot of the production companies do. And I looked at it and I said, this is way too broad. I'm not going to sign this. And they said, oh, feel free to cut out. So I scratched a whole bunch of it out. Not quite enough, but I scratched a lot of it out and signed it, and I said, fine. And then this guy walks in, and first thing that struck me is he's wearing a polyester suit. It's a little bit odd, but who am I to judge, one's sartorial preferences? So, and then he comes over and he greets me and hugs me and so forth, and gives me some trinket from whatever country he was from and purporting to come from. I said, fine, and then we sit down. And up to that point, it was, perfectly legitimate. And then he unwraps what turned out to be this hunk of cheese. And so we have this tradition in my country also, and when we have a guest, we like to have some cheese. I thought, what the heck, I've eaten a lot of weird things. And so, literally, just as I'm eating, and he mumbles, and if you've seen the movie, you know what he mumbles. And I'm eating it, and I thought, either I misunderstood what he just said, or there's something really weird about this guy. But we went on it, and we actually had an interview for about 5-7 minutes, in which he asked questions about the Patriot Act and the Constitution and my service in the Congress. And that was fine. And then all of a sudden, he asked me about nude male wrestling. And I said, that's it. I don't know what you're up to, but and so we threw him out of the office. And I really didn't give it another thought. I had no idea who the guy was. I'd never seen Ollie G or any of this. Shows you what an isolated life I lead, I suppose. Then one night, probably about 6 months later, I was sitting in bed and flipping through the channels and flipped across HBO, I think it was. And then I went back. I recognized that guy. I thought, oh my goodness, what have I done? You live and learn.
Did you go see Borat at the theaters?
No, I refused to pay to go see it. Not getting any royalties from it. One of our sons had a copy of it, I think from a friend of theirs, and I watched it. And most of it was absolutely hilarious. The guy has a tremendous comic sense about it. He really does. Now, it went off the deep end at the end.
I think we know what you're talking about.
It was a real train wreck. But most of it I found very funny.
That's a very upper-handed way of talking about it, I suppose. Definitely taking the high ground and very.
Well, I mean, there were some folks. I think I forget which ones they wanted to sue him, and we figured, look, we made a mistake. Should have checked it out more. Live and learn.
Just so you know, he's coming out with a new movie as
Bruno.
Another character on his show, Bruno. So if you see somebody named
Bruno,
contacts
Bruno.
you, yeah. So anyhow, next.